Hi folks, welcome to Three Rivers Wrench. I am Brian James. This guy here, if you've watched any of my other videos, you know him as Frank. We're not working on Frank today. I'm excited to announce I have a brand new build on the way. Should be here any second now. Only seen photos, never put my hands on it. So sit back, relax, and see what I'm getting into next. Okay guys, yeah, four-door Nova. Boring, right? No, it's not boring. It's a cop car. It's not any cop car. It's from Los Angeles. How about that? This here's Steve. Steve is admin of 9C1 Nova Group, also New England Nova Group, on Facebook. And he's brought this to me, and we're going to work together, and we're going to get this thing back on the road in its original clothes, black and white, and some lights flashing on top. I mean, I think it's going to be pretty cool. It's going to take a little while. We're going to be pretty consistent with the videos coming out. If you're not on Facebook, guys, get on there, join one of those groups. You're going to see photos and videos. And Steve, thanks for the opportunity, man. I appreciate it. This is going to be very cool. So tell me exactly kind of what you found out so far, what this guy is.
Right, so this is a 1978 Chevy Nova 9C1. So did some research to determine through the GM Heritage Art Car Service that this was delivered to Harriman Chevrolet in Los Angeles in 1978. So it was used in LA County. So it's a 9C1 with a lot of the typical options that you would see. Steering wheel, speedometer of 120 miles an hour, front and rear sway bars, the 350 engine, the right size rims, so on and on.
Yeah, I've heard guys call this the four-door Z28. And I tell you what, we took this thing around the parking lot a little bit, and man, I'm impressed. I'm kind of a four-door guy now, well, at least the 9C1 guy. This is impressive. I can't wait till we tune this guy up and really get him ripping. It's going to be cool. Steve, you got two other cars, right?
I've got two other 9C1s. I bought one last month. It's a 1976, and then I have one, a 1977 that originated from Columbia, Missouri.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So we talked about years that they were in service. Did we talk about years in service?
Not yet. I can touch on
yeah,
it if you want.
Go ahead.
It's, so they started offering these in 1975 to police departments across the country. They offered them through the end of 1978.
Okay, cool. We don't really know about production numbers.
I've
right?
seen numbers. I'm not sure what to think of them. I've seen like 13,000 that were made. It sounds low to me,
Yeah.
but, and I've heard other people say that too. But.
And probably not many left.
So there's probably about 24 of these that are known to have survived.
Wow.
And I have 3 of them, but there's some in museums in California, and Denver has one as well in their museum.
Wow. And hey, maybe one of you guys has one, right? I mean,
Exactly.
these things were what? They when they were done in service, they would remove all the police accoutrement or whatever, and they would auction them off. So maybe you have one of these in your garage, right? Look for that 120 mile per hour speedometer, maybe the steering wheel, which you saw in the walk around, maybe some holes where the cage was, right?
Right here.
And spotlights, yeah, spotlights. We can tell, as you saw in the video, that this had spotlights and a whip antenna. Also the cage, yeah, it's the real deal, so for sure. So one of the great things that you decided to do with this was turn this into kind of a tribute vehicle. Tell us a little bit about that.
Right, so in 1978, Walter Hannon Jr. Was on duty in pursuit, I believe, of another vehicle. A car swerved in front of him. He went to avoid that collision, but ended up colliding into a metal pole and was killed on duty. So he was 29 years old. And so we want to make this car a tribute to Walter's memory, and really excited about marking this car up to be consistent with the vehicle that he drove.
Man, yeah, it's quite a hit, man. Yeah, so it's gonna be something special, I believe. Yeah, so you got anything else you want to talk about on this guy?
No, I mean, you know, this car was developed in the early 70s. It was tested by the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department. John Christie worked for the department, and then also was an editor for Motor Trend magazine.
Wow.
So he understood what a police officer wanted in a car, and he also understood what a high performance car needed to be. So it was a perfect blend that led to the development of this car. So it's a great story, and there's a lot more information on the Nova 9C1 Police Cars Facebook group page on Facebook there.
Yeah. All right. Well, so anyway, Steve, thanks. Appreciate it. This is going to be a lot of fun. Guys, do me a favor, like, subscribe. That way you can stay up to date on what's going on with the 9C1 here. Let's see if Steve wants to give it a name. We'll see. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one. We'll see you later. What was I thinking? We didn't even look at the car yet. Come on, let's go check it out. Okay, guys, before I bring the 9C1 in and rip them apart a little bit, he's a runner and a driver, so let's take him around the lot a few times. Let's listen for clunks, rattles, any weird noises. Let's see if we can get that transmission to upshift, downshift a few times. Let's check the posi unit, and then we can bring them in and really get in the weeds. I feel like I'm on a game show. Which key starts the car? You got 10 seconds. Winner! Well, I saw a little bit of blue smoke. It started up back there, so we got some oil leaking into the cylinders. That's one thing we noticed. Carb needs adjusted. It's doesn't run so well cold. Once he warms up, though, we're okay. Well, the posi works. Well, we're gonna take it down here. I got a little speed bump. Okay, heard some banging in the rear. Probably the exhaust. Yeah, check out this steering. Gonna need a steering column, or we're gonna have to rebuild this guy. It's got quite a bit of pep for a old guy. I did feel it upshift from first to second, no problem. Now I can't take this guy out on the road because he's not registered, and I think he's insured. We'll find out. But I'm just not going to chance it. So we got to do our road tests on this small little parking lot. And, 1, 2. We're not going to be able to get them into third gear, but that's okay. Odometer showing 61,825. Looking at the brake pedal, that's 161, no doubt. I really want to take this guy out on the open road. Okay, let's get him in the garage. Let's get him up in the air. Get a look at this guy. All right, so you bought an old car. You're going to restore it. What's the first thing you do? Notebook, pen, pencil, crayon, I don't care. Go through this whole vehicle, every square inch, see what works, see what's missing, what's broken. That way in the future, as you're putting them back together, you have some kind of idea what you did 2 years ago when you started the project. Now, I'm not thinking this is going to take 2 years. We're going to move very quickly on this. I'm thinking, you know, much sooner than that. Fingers crossed. Anyways, I'm going to go through this guy. I'm going to check the windows, the door locks, all the lights, horn, wipers, washers, anything that's loose or missing on the body that I can see out here. Then we're going to get them in the shop on the rack. We're going to rip the wheels off, go over everything. So bear with me. It's going to take a little bit. All right, guys, so I started out just looking at body, glass, bumpers, trim. Man, I've got pages worth of things that I've noticed and things that need taken care of. The best thing you can do, use your eyes and your hands. You're gonna just rub this whole thing down. You're looking for dents, dings. You're knocking on panels, looking for some body filler. It'll have a little duller sound when you knock on it. I'm looking at body gaps. So check out some of these body gaps. So I opened both these doors. I'm looking for any kind of sag in the hinge pins. Passenger side, really nice. I mean, these pins will they'll probably get replaced anyways in the front doors, but the passenger side's pretty good. Now you come to the top, front door and the back door looks good. Body line looks great. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna come around to the driver's side. All right, so we're on the driver's side, and you look at the top of these doors. Yeah, it doesn't look so great, does it? Well, 161,000 miles on probably original hinge pins is gonna do that. So as you shut it, you can see, right? Anyways, let's move on. Now, gaps up front here, especially on these cars, because they have a front subframe, you could have worn out bushings that hold the subframe and rad support, and it can give you the illusion that the gaps are not right. I mean, yeah, they're not right, but if you put some new bushings in there, it'll probably straighten it out. This car, from what I saw earlier, it's gonna need some love in that area. But anyways, let's go back to the trunk here. Okay, that's pretty wide. Come over to this side, a little smaller. And when I looked a little closer, can you see that right rear corner? Yeah, there was a collision right there. Talk about body filler. You can feel it. You can hear it. Anyways, we open the trunk. It's hard to see, but there's a whole lot of hammer marks in here. So this side got pushed in a little bit, so we got a little something there that we're gonna have to deal with in the future. Well, besides this getting hit at some point in its life, the other thing is the California sun, and this also goes for the South as well, dries this plastic stuff like, yeah. So anything plastic on this car, it's usually just the bumper fillers, front and rear. We're gonna have to find replacements because this stuff is just not, yeah, that's not worth keeping. Can you believe that? That is the only hole in this body that I've found so far. Totally gonna keep this fender, just repair that. All right, so how do we know we have a Nova 9C1? Well, under this beautiful green paint, black and white, and there's several spots in the car, you can see that. So that's evidence. There's a few other things to look for. 120 mile an hour speedometer, very important. Back up a little bit here. This steering wheel, I've heard guys call it the butterfly. I've seen these on El Caminos and Camaros and stuff, but on the Nova 9C1, these were pretty much standard from what I understand. So on the B pillar, you see a couple holes in this trim. That is where there were brackets that held the cage divider. They kept the bad guys in the back. So up here on the A pillars, you can see a hole here. There is one over here. If you can imagine, that's where the spotlights were. So on the exterior of the car, they filled the holes or they would pop through. We'll see that when we remove paint. So up here on the front bumper, you're gonna see this bit of chrome is much shinier than the rest, and there's a hole here and a hole here. That is for the push bar. All right, we're gonna come inside the trunk. On the inner side, you see that patch panel right there? Well, somebody covered up a big hole that was drilled in the side of the left rear quarter panel here. And up here, it's hard to see, but you can almost see a shadow of where the hole was. Anyways, that was for a whip antenna. Now, I don't know if all the police cars had that. Most likely they did, but right there, we're gonna be doing some body work. Okay, let's pull them inside. Let's go through this interior and see what we find. Hey, any of you older guys remember the Flash Gordon movie with the tree beast scene where they're reaching their hand in and they don't know if they're gonna get their hand bit off? Yeah, that's what this kind of feels like. You gotta check these trunk drop-offs. Stuff falls down in there. Usually it falls down in there and falls right out because the backside's rusted. But believe it or not, this guy's solid. I cleaned out the trunk, the back seat. We got stuff all over the place. We got some trim pieces, some good, some not so good. I got an extra jack. Most important, tilt column. Feels pretty good. That's gonna be key. Extra battery tray. Okay, so we got some trunk carpet, trunk pad, trunk jute padding. Boy, I've got enough rear door edge pieces for 4 Novas. Bunch of weather strips that are going to hit the circular file. AM/FM CB radio. I think I was told this is for a Malibu, not a Nova. And here's the back seat. You can see it's still wrapped in its original vinyl. It's not salvageable, but kind of cool. And what I've got here is a template for the cage. So gentleman in Florida has a 9C1, lent this to Steve, said he used this to create his cage, so we're going to make our own cage. And Steve's got 2 other 9C1s, so we'll probably be making 3 cages. So here we are in the trunk. It is solid. There are no holes anywhere as far as rust holes. Now, what I did see, it's kind of cool, some holes that somebody filled with some RTV. Boom, 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 boom. Couple over here. I wonder what they had mounted back here. If anybody knows, put it in the comments. Would love to know so we can replicate as much as we can. Back seat floor looks good. Oh, and by the way, guys, I forgot to mention that when it comes to 9C1s, they'll have this funky back seat. So it doesn't come all the way over. Anyways, we'll get a good look at the floor when we get this guy up in the air. All right, I've cleaned out the interior. I've gone over this whole inside. Yeah, it's bad. It's real bad. There's some things that are salvageable, but not much. Let me show you. Okay, both front door panels, yeah, they need replaced. Cracking, splitting, dried up. How about that dashboard, huh? Yeah, dash pad's gonna get replaced. Repaint dashboard, the lower side here. Gonna need a new radio. This Craco doesn't work, and well, it's a Craco. Unfortunately, this lens is pretty scratched up. We got a lot of cracks in the big bezel here, the big black piece. I'm hoping the steering wheel it doesn't feel gummy underneath this cover, but we'll see once we get it all apart and clean it. You know how that's likes to go. We got some extra gauges in here. I don't think those were standard on the police cars, but we'll see. I know Steve has some rubber floor for this guy, so we don't have to worry about carpet. The seats, yeah, wow. They even recovered the seats in green. Wow. Anyways, those seats are going to get replaced. Well, not replaced. They're going to get repadded, recovered. I noticed the seat adjuster doesn't work, and we had an extra one in the trunk. These rear door panels, they're not too bad. I think we can just re-dye them, reuse them. That goes for both sides. The door sills, that's something we can clean, polish, see how they look. It might be something we replace, he replaces on his own later on. There's the vinyl seat in all its glory. That's original. That's going to get repadded and recovered. Get up at that headliner. That's the cardboard stuff. That's going to need replaced. Yeah, check out those visors up there coming apart. That needs replaced. Yeah, all the trim, the C, the B, the A, that all needs replaced as well. So, got our work cut out for us. Okay, got the wheels knocked off this old man and shook him down pretty good. We got some loose stuff, a little bit of play in the ball joints and tie rod ends. But I'll tell you what, looks pretty good. Look at these inner fenders. I mean, gorgeous. Everything's covered in that California dust. The other side here looks good. A little bit of a hole here. That's not rust. Something punctured that, so we'll just kind of patch that up when we get to that point. And again, ball joints, tie rods. I mean, if it's plastic or rubber, it's pretty much gone. Back here at the rear, brakes look really good. We're going to be doing shocks all the way around, probably springs all the way around as well. Same over here. I mean, look how absolutely solid, gorgeous this is. This is, wow, really nice. Okay, so we got her all the way up in the air, and look at that gas tank. Wow. 50-year-old gas tank, just about. Anyways, how about these trunk drop-offs? Completely solid. Just got to straighten out this edge here a little bit. But I mean, no holes. Solid as a rock. Same on this side. I am the luckiest boy. Again, if it's rubber or plastic, it's pretty much gone. Yeah, I mean, it's so nice. Floors. Oh, you know what? It's not 100% because if you come over here to the passenger side, we got a little bit. There's the carpet. And it's pretty solid over here and over here, so it's not a very big area to fix. That's nice. Again, we come up here, it's the bottom of our control arms. Again, if it's rubber, it's junk. Very nice underneath, very nice. All right, let's talk powertrain. Okay, back here at the differential, guys. How do we know this is a posi besides the tag that says use limited slip fluid? Well, you could turn one wheel, and as long as the other wheel spins in the same direction, you got a posi. If it goes the opposite direction on this side, then it's an open differential. So mid-neutral, I'm turning this forward, see that side's going forward. Now, what ratio do we have? Well, it's pretty simple. Put a mark here, just mark your drive shaft, and mark like 12 o'clock on the top of the drum. And you're gonna start turning this guy. You're gonna count the drive shaft, how many turns, or you're gonna count each turn, that's one turn, and you're gonna come over here, gonna look at your mark. Okay, we're not at 12 o'clock yet, so we're gonna keep doing that. Well, I've done that already. Looks like we got a 308 gear ratio, so wasn't really standard on these vehicles. I think that's because this is a 9C1. It looks like 308s were only available with a 305 and a 4-speed. Now, I might be wrong, but that's what I'm seeing on the old interwebs. So let's take a look at the rest of the stuff. All right, turbo 350 automatic transmission. You can tell by the pan here, it's pretty much leaking everywhere. And just because we don't know how old this thing is, if it's ever been rebuilt, we're going to be rebuilding this guy. Not super difficult. Not much else to say there. Let's move up to the engine here. Okay, guys, 350 cubic inch. That's it. Small block. Really nice. Runs pretty good. In a video coming up, we'll do a health check on this guy and see if we need to rebuild. Probably be pulling the heads anyways, because I'm probably going to want to do those valve seals. We saw a little bit of blue smoke at startup. We'll see when the time comes. Anyways, Quadrajet 4-barrel up top here. It's got a smog pump on it. Air conditioning. That's another thing we're going to do before we rip this apart. We will be retrofitting to 134, charging the system, seeing if the AC works. If it does, we'll see if we got any leaks. That way we can address that as the restoration continues. But other than that, that's about all I have to say about that. Well, Steve just called, said he's bringing some more parts. Let's see what he's got. All right then.
Hey Brian, it's deja vu all Nova again.
Wow. Okay. You said you were bringing more parts. This will do. Wow.